think the fact that we've been playing for so long time together in various settings. So we play many concerts just as a trio, but also sometimes the guests or musical friends join us. The positive side of this is that we together really get deeper and deeper into the music because we spend so much time together. Every week the trio sees each other. We pick up different influences, like now here from Turkey or from Iran. And I think the process of getting deeper into it with each other doesn't stop when, for instance, our Turkish guest musician would go back home. We keep on deepening the music, and every time we play our repertoire, let's say from China to Brazil or something, it gives a chance to together always go deeper into the music because you play with each other in a longer time. You know what I mean? It's not just a project for 1 or 2 weeks and next project and then one project 1 or 2 weeks next. No, we try to create very long lines, and that for this trio I think works very nice. The track Melody Antique, I think it resembles the mood of the latest trio album. The whole album is called A Wind Invisible Sweeps Us Through the World, which is a quote from Rumi. And the next album of the trio that's coming out will be out next year. That's Tony, Mia and Vincent with Mohammed Motamedi, singer from Iran, where he sings all these lyrics from Hafiz and from Rumi. So listeners will hear this album, I think it's released around May 2023, so that's still coming. You know, when we improvise as a trio, I think it happens every concert that we get to a place where we all don't really know how we got there. And that's the nice thing about being a jazz musician, right? So the concert people will hear tonight, I think 10% of what they're gonna hear is prepared, because sometimes you have melodies that you play together. So Tony plays the exact same melody as I do, so that we rehearsed. I think that's about 10%, and then the other 90% of the music develops it tonight here in Borusan. And it will be different than if we play tomorrow night in Izmir or next night in Ankara or something. So I think the fact that Vincent and Tony and I chose to become a jazz musician, this is the reason why. Because every night we want to, together with the audience, so people that are here tonight, for us feel like the fourth band member. Because that's when the magic starts, when you really have a concert, there's applause and we come up here and there's these great people from Istanbul now tonight that we play for. We would know, okay, this 10% we know that it works, but the other 90% of our playing, yeah, we will always find an element that, for instance, Tony takes a specific direction. I'm like, okay, you take this direction, let me follow you. Or I might feel, okay, now I want to go to another key, or I want to go to another song. And then Tony and Vincent will be like, okay, he's going there. So we always try to be flexible what the music tells us on this specific night. I think as a human, for your profession, if you do something that you don't only like, but that you're really passionate about, it's hard to switch it off. Because I'm a performing musician on the piano, but I can perform because my heart is so big for music. So I'm also a music listener, of course. So whenever I'm not studying myself, I listen to music which inspires me, which touches me. And then later in my professional career, I can use this element on stage. So I think this would count for anybody in any profession if you feel you're called, to this profession. Maybe photographers have the same, or even maybe people that work for a governmental organization, whatever. As long as you feel that you're passionate about what you do, I think also there's no real need to switch off your energy line, because especially for artists, I think the art is always bigger than just the individual. The music is much bigger than just you or me. So I see myself as a kind of radio station that has a big antenna to what the universe creates for us, which is music. And if you would switch yourself off from this, you don't get feeding anymore, you know what I mean? And for us performers, first you need to feed yourself before you can give something to the audience tonight here in Istanbul. So that's how it worked for me. So I think building up this understanding, it's kind of a natural process, but also something we discuss after the concert a lot. Because in music, the music itself plays, of course, itself and it develops. But we've had occasions where, for instance, I would want to take a different direction than Tony or Vince, and then after the concert, we would talk about it and see each individual's opinion about it. And then while we have a tea or in the hotel lobby, we would kind of review what we've been playing and seeing was this decision, this musical decision we took, was it a good decision or not? And sometimes these fights on stage can provide with fantastic music, because for the public, it's actually kind of interesting if you see that something is cooking and not going the way people intended. Because the music itself never lies. So even if two individuals go totally different ways, you still need to make it work, you know? And that about jazz music, of course, I love. So sometimes, I don't know, I would play an intro, let's say to a standard in a specific key. Let's say All the Things You Are in A flat or something. And maybe if Tony understood we were playing another song in another key, he would be playing Autumn Leaves in C, and you find out on stage that you're in two totally different worlds, but the public is there, so you need to make it work. And that's extremely interesting as a public to experience, like, okay, but how are they're not gonna say, stop, 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 we start again. The music will fix itself. So even on moments when it's like this, I think it serves the music. And sometimes when we feel like that we took different directions which maybe didn't work so well, we would discuss it later and talk about, well, maybe next time build up something slower, or the opposite, let's get to the point quicker, or discuss the set list. And that's nice if you're really a working band. So if you meet each other every week, you get into this vibe easier because you play all the time together. This venue is a great venue for jazz and classical. Probably they do classical music here as well, I guess. Because it has this kind of chamber music vibe to it, right? Probably it holds maximum 150 people, my estimation would be. So each individual here, when you're at the piano, you can see, like we are in touch now. And sometimes we play in halls that are so big and people are so far away that it can feel a little bit remote. And I think Borusan here, the way it's set up, also with the piano there in the middle of the room, it's easier to connect to each individual here in this hall. I think that was very well done. It reminds me a little bit of the BIM house, which we have in Amsterdam. It's a specific jazz club. The architect built it especially for jazz music. And I think this it's a little bit smaller, but it reminds me of it. A great venue to get in touch with each other. Tonight we'll play a couple of songs of the latest album, but I think also on the set list we'll include some stuff that just comes up. There's a couple of songs I know I could just start playing, and Tony and Vincent will jump along the bandwagon, you know. And usually whenever we have a CD out on the concerts, I think we always play things from a bigger repertoire, not only just this CD you're presenting this moment. Because I think for our listeners, it's nice to get a real trip, you know, that maybe afterwards you think like, wow, okay, this was 70 minutes, but I was never bored in any moment. And the medium of creating an album or a CD that maybe Turkish listeners now will find on Spotify or something, or online, Apple Music, whatever. You use this listening to an album in a different way. This you listen at home or maybe on your headphones when you're in the metro or whatever. And a live performance, I think it really is something else. So what people will hear tonight is music from the same album with totally different improvisations, but I think also other songs which we feel now are necessary to create this trip.